1861, a dark age for the people of America. War was blooming all over the country. The people had turned against their own leaders. The Southern states grouped together and formed the Confederate States of America, which turned against the Union. It all started at the presidential election in 1860.
Please raise your right hand and say after me. I, Abraham Lincoln, do solemnly swear
I, Abraham Lincoln, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of the President of the United States
and will to the best of my ability
I will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect and defend
preserve, protect and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
Abraham Lincoln won the election. This led to severe consequences. America was going to go through a change. The previous president, James Buchanan, who was a Democrat, has led the country without problems. And now they're going to have the first Republican leader in the history of America.
If we could first know where we are and whether we are tending, we could then better judge what to do and how to do it. We are now far into the 5th year since the policy was initiated, with the avowed object and confident promise to putting an end to slavery again. Under the operation of that policy, that again has not only not ceased, but has constantly augmented, in my opinion. It will not be ceased until the crisis shall have been reached and passed. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free.
The southern states were not happy with the changes that Lincoln was going to implement. The main thing the South was disagreeing with was Lincoln's view on slavery and sectionalism. Lincoln wanted to change the social structures and industrialize the North, whilst the South would stay the same.
Abraham Lincoln, what a stellar man. This country was built by slaves and true Americans. You know that they're going to industrialize the North, right? What about us? The South isn't getting any love. We're going to be the same old American, but without slaves. That will not work for us. We must stand against Lincoln. We need to stand united. We have gathered here today to sign these papers. These papers who will make us free, give us a new hope without the United States. Yeah, these are the papers that will make America great again. We are the Confederate States. The Confederate States!
The war started by Lincoln declining the South delegation offer, which led to the South started attacking different areas belonging to the Union. The Confederate States started to plan the first attack against Fort Sumter, which were located in the center of an harbor.
The Confederate States are attacking! We need to hold this fort!
Yes, sir!
General, yes, Mr. President. We can't hold this fort. We need to fall back.
Yes, sir.
We have taken Fort Sumter. This is the first victory for the Confederate people. Here, I now claim this for the Confederate States.
Lincoln told his men to hold the fort, but he also told his high powers to retreat. The battle couldn't be won. The Confederate States took control of the fort by April 14, 1861. Lincoln's belief that the minority of the Southern people were in favor of the secession was false. He realized that when they attacked in large numbers. Lincoln was desperate. He called in all states to retake the fort, but some didn't accept Lincoln's order. 4 states, including North Carolina, did not want to fight their neighbors, so they joined the Confederate States.
The people of the Union, we need to take back the Fort Sumter right here and right now. So come on, let's do this. There it is, Fort Sumter, attack!
In the first year, both sides had far more volunteers than they could arm and train efficiently. Everyone wanted to join the war and fight for their sides. The Confederates had to make new laws about recruiting men in the age of 18 to 35 because they couldn't handle all their recruits. The Union has already started planning their next move. Their purpose was to win the war with as little bloodshed as possible. Their plan was named the Anaconda Plan. They blocked all the Confederates' main ports so they could weaken their economy. Their plan was successful. They managed to stop 10 of the Confederate ports and stop their cotton exports. This eventually ruined the Southern's economy at the cost of only a few lives, which was the Union's main goal. The Civil War was a concert marked by ferocity and frequency of battle. During the 4 years which the Civil War was fought, there was 237 named battles. Some of them were small skirmishes, and some of them were characterized by their bitter intensity and high casualties. As the Confederates started to lose men, they made a last attempt to break the Union by holding Petersburg, but they lost this battle named the Battle of Five Forks. The Confederates did not want to surrender. Their original plan was to fall back to Safe House, where they could rearm and go back to war, but they were surrounded by the Union. At this time, Lincoln was at a theater.
Oh, what a good theater. Oh. Look at him. Oh.
You and I, we're like fireworks.
On April 14, 1865, President Lincoln was shot and died the next morning. While this happened, the Confederate was forced to surrender because of the lack of men, and the war was slowly going towards an end. To summarize the Civil War, it wasn't a war about killing each other, but rather in taking provisions and forage, but also destroying homes, farms and railroads. In the end times of war, the Union's army started to go on the offensive to force the Confederates to fall back. And this is where they planned to destroy the Confederate army. They fought for 9 months.